Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. Today, Aquaman stands at a mighty $940.7 million at the global box office after a 56.2 million international weekend. Will surpass Jumanji by Tuesday, which had a stellar run this same time last year. Latest totals is international 681 million, domestic 259.7 million, global 940.7 million. So it's a far gone conclusion. It's going to make a billion by next Saturday, maybe even earlier or a little bit later, but it's going to make a billion nonetheless. What an incredible achievement. We're going to make another video when it actually reaches a billion, or whenever I'll update you on the box office as it goes along. But Aquaman, incredible achievement. I mean, all-time worldwide right now, it's like number 46 out of thousands of movies. Number 46, okay? It's like right under The Hobbit, The Battles of Five Armies. It beat Finding Nemo, Harry Potter, Lords of the Ring, Two Towers, Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man Homecoming. There's a whole list. And of course, it's the top DCEU film right now, as the one below it is Batman v Superman. So it's kind of interesting when you look at this list, right? When you look at this list and you're looking at how it started with Man of Steel, and then it had oh my god, I'm losing my mind. Batman v Superman, and then it had Suicide Squad, and then it had Wonder Woman, and it kind of progressively got, even though Batman v Superman got the biggest, Suicide Squad didn't come out in China. If it had come out in China, I wonder how the numbers would be. But you can see it, like, it's getting higher, and then it went down with Justice League, and of course now it's like back up with Aquaman, and it's funny to see and sad to see that the one that the producers really touched, that includes Suicide Squad in that case, those are the lowest movies, right? The ones you guys touched are the lowest movies. Isn't that weird? I think it's something to be said there. So hopefully that is with that lesson to be learned. Hopefully they're not, and I think they are. I think that's why they didn't have John Berg and Jeff Johns and everything, and Kevin Sujihara took a step back and said, Toby Emmerich, here, you're in charge with Walter Hamada. So maybe that helped. Maybe won't know until later on. This is a good indication that we're on the right track, but I don't know what's going to happen from here, because in all intents and purposes, John Berg greenlit Shazam. They were part of Aquaman, yet Aquaman was already through production, so it's kind of hard to say from them. So we'll see how Shazam turns out. Wonder Woman 1984 was also a Jeff Johns, John Berg thing, but Walter Hamada did Birds of Prey, and Walter Hamada greenlit Joker. So we'll see what happens with those movies, and I'm waiting to see $1 billion. They're definitely gonna say Aquaman too. That's probably what they're going for right now. But who knows? And who knows how much this could help the Snyder Cut. But there are other movies that are coming down, like I said, and I know we talked about that little DCEU scoop that was supposed to happen. Daniel RPK had put it out. Jeremy Conrad says, hold on to your butts. And it's like, oh, it's going to be big. Is it going to be a major? We're supposed to be excited. It's supposed to be worth the wait. And, well, turns out it was just a trailer, Shazam trailer description. Yeah, a Shazam trailer description, and they put like exclusive or breaking, and I'm like, that's the same description which was was it Brazil Comic-Con. It's the same trailer. It's been floating on Reddit, and they finally put it, wherever to put it on an article for some reason. And that's just like, that's not a scoop at all. That was a really disappointing, and they really hyped it up to be something else, when it wasn't really a scoop, you know. Although they later on the day they did another exclusive. The 7 deadly sins will appear in Shazam. That's right, the 7 deadly sins, the pride, envy, greed, wrath, sloth, gluttony, and lust. There are some seemingly confirmed to be the group of supervillains other than Dr. Savannah to appear and fight Shazam, and that's kind of interesting. That's kind of cool, seeing a lot of superhero powered fights for something that we thought was a little bit not too much of a big budget. I think the fights are gonna be really cool from what I've seen anyway. So it's gonna be really exciting to see this type, and I've heard some of these fights and flight sequences are very Man of Steel-esque, and if that's the case, then that's great. That's just like Aquaman, how they took homages to Man of Steel. I think Shazam is going to do exactly the same thing to keep that same archetype action, maybe the slow-mo, maybe, I don't know, but like that high intensity powered action is going to continue on to Shazam, and I can't wait to see that. But apparently this was actually not even exclusive either, because Omega Underground had talked about this in September of 2017. So even that is not a big scoop. So I'm sorry, apologize for all the people out there who are really, including myself. I mean, I feel bad for everyone, including, like, we were so hyped, and then it came out and it wasn't that big of a scoop, right? The other scoop, which wasn't really, it was an interview with the Boris Kitt, who works with the Hollywood Reporter. Someone asked him, when will we hear who will lead Matt Reeves' The Batman? Presumably it won't be Ben Affleck, and Boris said this. Boris Kitt, he's a scooper for the Hollywood Reporter. He said, the script is basically in, although Reeves will continue tweaking it and working on it, and I'm hearing the studio wants to start shooting in November. So let's say between now and then. So yeah, I mean, according to him, if they start shooting this November, they're going to have to get into pre-production. They're going to have to start looking for locations and things like that, if it's true. And we're gonna have to totally hear who is Batman from now till November of 2017, and that's something they really should get out of the way, like right now, you know. And if they're really aiming to shoot in November, they has to be known before pre-production, I don't think. So I think or it is, you know, it has to start happening already. And so I don't know what to think about this. I really truly hope Ben Affleck's Batman. There are people out there who have sources that say Ben Affleck is still Batman, and there are other people who have sources that says Ben Affleck is out. So who knows? Until we get an official word from Warner Brothers, this is all conjecture, but these are rumors and more scoop information for you. So let me know your thoughts on that. If it starts shooting in November, great. Ben Affleck is Batman, awesome. That's all the right stuff. I would totally love to see it start happening already. But we'll see what happens with that. And more scooper game, and this was an actual scoop, actually, in my opinion. John Aaron Garza with DC Films Hub, where he's talking a little bit about the 5-park art story. Okay, I won't get a little more into that because I want to really get into that. But he put out that there was these storyboards, okay, that he found, and this is from 2017. The guy's name is John Colburn, who worked on a film in June of 2017 for a month to storyboard the reshoots. That's right, they storyboarded the reshoots. What a waste of money and time. Anyway, this is for Justice League. This is what Danny Elfman was looking at to score the film. Yeah. So this is the storyboards, and he has them right here. You see how Superman shows up. You see the part where Princess Diana or Flash falls on Wonder Woman. Is it Flash falls on Wonder Woman? Yeah, it was. And so and the Batman chase in the end. And so these are the parts that was storyboarded to be reshot. I mean, ridiculous. I mean, that's just a waste of time and a waste of money. And no wonder Danny Elfman couldn't really score. If this is how he had to work with, he couldn't even, it's hard. It's probably way better to storyboard something in motion than just looking at pictures and trying. That's why you didn't feel the oomph at all in some of those scenes. And so, my God, what a crazy production that been. Hopefully Warner Bros. Doesn't do that anymore, and I think they won't. But it's incredible to see this. But what I wanted to get into a little bit is about those that 5 part film arc that Zack Snyder had done, and there were a lot of people upset. There were a lot of people upset that Stephen Colbert or Film Junkie and even DC Film Hubs had suggested that be turned into a comic book or talk about that. They're not saying it's going to be turned into a comic book, okay? So calm down. Warner Bros. Has not even acknowledged the Snyder Cut yet. Nobody has said anything about Snyder Cut. These are just suggestions from fans who are trying to see what Warner Brothers will do with it, and by every single definition, the Snyder Cut is not the 5-part film arc. The 5-part film arc was supposed to be a standalone pentalogy of films that was going to be by itself. There was no shared universe. It was going to be like the Nolanverse, but 5 films, and it was going to end and they're going to move on, okay? But when during like Batman v Superman, it started to change, it started to turn into something else as the studios wanted to catch up with with Marvel. So they wanted to make it a cinematic universe. And so they changed the 5-part film arc into the Justice League Snyder Cut and then the Justice League. So the Justice League Snyder Cut ends pretty much almost the same as how the Justice League would end, with each hero going their separate ways and alive. Okay, so we kind of felt, and it seems to be apparent, that Batman was supposed to die in the 5-part film arc. Batman is alive in the Snyder Cut as you see him, Bruce Wayne, talking to Clark Kent, a Snyder shot talking to Clark Kent and buying the house back for the bank. So when you see that, he's alive. That's at the end. He's alive, okay? Superman showing up. He looks up in the sky. That is mustache-less Superman. That's a Snyder shot. Snyder was on that set. You actually see him when he's going through the alleyway and he rips open his shirt, which I believe, in my own opinion, that is probably the last shot you see in Justice League, which is very similar to Justice League, maybe without the takeoff. But I believe, okay, that the Snyder Cut is not exactly, it's the same stepping stones. It's the same plot as Justice League, but more fleshed out, much more serious, no weird jokes. The music is much better, and things like that. And we have a little bit more like Steppenwolf probably died with his head chopped off and stuff like that. And so that is what the Snyder Cut is now. So I think what they want to suggest, these are the fans, Stephen Colbert, Film Junkie, John, is that we want to all see the Snyder Cut. It's easier to get to see the Snyder Cut right now because that's the one that Zack Snyder actually shot. But would it be cool if we aren't going to get the 5-part film arc in any other in a medium like the films? Wouldn't it be cool to actually see that in addition to the Snyder Cut? In addition to the Snyder Cut, we could possibly get a book saying this was the original story. And like Batman v Superman, the original story was different too. They would have had Metallo. They would have been a little bit different. So would it be cool to see that as well as part of that 5-part film arc? But now it's all changed. So That's what I'm trying to get at, that we shouldn't really be upset about that. I would love to have the Snyder Cut. If there is a, oh my God, if they said, you know what, Warner Bros., we're gonna have that DC Black Label version of the films, and we're gonna pour money and make the 5-part film arc. In this case, it's just 3 more movies after Batman v Superman. Then go for it, and it's going to be like its own standalone Elseworlds. But in what we feeling like they're going to do is actually release the Snyder Cut, rather than actually putting money and remaking all Justice League to make it into the 5-part film arc. I think that storyboards and all that was all changed during Batman v Superman, and Justice League Snyder Cut, as we feel it is now, is not that 5-part film arc, because it paves the way for the other heroes instead of being a standalone shared thing. And so I am excited to hopefully see the Snyder Cut, hopefully even hear about it officially from Warner Brothers, or even officially from Zack Snyder himself, instead of just liking things or hinting at it as we think he's doing, with tinfoil hat on, of course. I do have some people emailing me, telling me things like the SF Sound FX guy, his studio, he was working on the Snyder Cut with the sound editing and stuff like that, but with the fire that happened in California, his studio burned down, but he still had the files, and he said that the Snyder Cut is not a hybrid. He hasn't heard of that. He's watched the entire Snyder Cut. It's not that. It's still the same Snyder Cut from before, and things like that. And it's been delayed because of the fire. But of course, he's only doing the sound editing part. So I don't know if that's true. That's what I'm hearing from that person. I'm also hearing things from other people as well. So it's all tinfoil. It's all conjecture right now. What we really, really want, and we should not lose hope and faith about it, because the studio has not said it's going to turn into a graphic novel. The studio has not said anything about the Snyder Cut. Zack Snyder hasn't officially came out and said it's happening or not. Whether he's just hinting about it or not, he's in Mexico right now on vacation, or is he looking for, or is he looking for internationally VFX teams? But anyway, that's just me tinfoil hatting. But if any case, it's very exciting for the DCEU right now. Particularly with Shazam coming out, and there's going to be more homages to Man of Steel from a couple things I saw. It's incredible stuff, but don't give your hopes up. I want to talk a little bit more about the trailer when the trailer actually drops. I think there's a lot of conversations to be had with that. There's going to be some, and I've already seen it on Twitter, there's going to be some anger, but also happiness, but a lot of things we could discuss about the trailer, which is coming out apparently on January 19th, and we can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it on my big screen, and it's it's gonna knock your socks off apparently. And from the couple things I've seen, it really was incredible. But don't expect anything like Henry Cavill showing up. Okay, that's Henry Cavill. Don't expect that. Although if that does happen from here and now, and they add that in, wow! But I'm not expecting that at all. So that is it. I'm going to be going on a trip to the mainland. So if, I don't know, not the next video, probably the video after that. If you see me in a hotel room, don't be shocked. I'm just traveling for a little bit. So until then, hopefully we get some great news this week. There's something about Godzilla King of the Monsters I want to cover. Hopefully I have time for that. Michael Dougherty had an incredible interview with Gormaru on Twitter, and I kind of retweeted that. Also, big shout out to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Congratulations for winning the Golden Golden Globes for Best Animated Feature. Totally deserves that. It's an incredible film, and if you guys haven't get to check it out, check that out immediately. And you know, go back and watch Aquaman if you want. I've already watched it twice. I don't know if I'm going to watch it a third time. We'll see. All right, guys. Well, that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.